What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Till. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Let's rock this! For those of you who live outside the United States, let me give you a bit of context. Emmett Till was an actual person, a real boy in the 1950s who traveled from Chicago to the deep South Mississippi and was accused of whistling at a white woman, and he got tortured and murdered for it by racist white folks who kidnapped him in the middle of the night. The lynching or the murder of Emmett Till was one of the many incidents that catapulted the civil rights movement. The reason why I'm telling you all that beforehand is because whatever you may feel about this movie or whether or not you think it's well made, the true story on which it is based is important and should never be forgotten. So, having said all that, what's my verdict? Till is a harrowing, deeply moving, emotionally devastating film that features a towering tour de force performance by Danielle Deadwyler, who plays Emmett's mom. The way Danielle expresses a mother's painful sorrow will leave you shaking. It's unbelievably powerful. Directed by Chinua Achebe, Till is a profoundly emotional and cinematic film about the true story of Mamie Till Mobley's relentless pursuit of justice for her 14-year-old son Emmett Till, who in 1955 was lynched while visiting his cousins in Mississippi. In Mamie's journey of grief turned to action, we see the universal power of a mother's ability to change the world. Starring Danielle Deadwyler, Gyllenhaal, Frankie Faison, Haley Bennett, and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but prior to this, I don't remember ever coming across a movie made about Emmett Till, meaning this may well be the first one ever. I mean, Lovecraft Country series sort of had their own version of Emmett Till, but this is the first that I think is a straight up faithful biopic. I'm not gonna lie, watching Till was not easy. For those of us who are familiar with the history, I for one felt anxiety and nausea from the very beginning, fully knowing what was about to happen to that character. So the question left is, how did director Chinua Achebe choose to visualize this tragedy? Well, I can tell you that approaching the narrative through the lens of Emmett's mom was the right decision, because not only does it allow for the actress Danielle to do what she does best, but on top of that, in addition to Emmett's gruesome death, Emmett's mom, Mamie, then has to enter the lion's den, if you will, and we get to see her battling racism in its ugliest form. If those moments don't infuriate you or get you boiling mad, then I don't know what will. Now, to answer your question that you may have in your mind, the answer is no. The film does not graphically show the torture or the murder itself. And you know what? I'm glad it doesn't. It really doesn't need to go there just to drive its point home. But what I do appreciate is that the script is brave enough to explore the complicated question of who's to blame for all this. Yes, the murderers or the killers, of course, but what I mean is, could this have been prevented? Are the families down south at fault for not fighting back? Should Emmett have been barred from seeing them to begin with? Which leads to the bigger dilemma of, do the matters of the black people in the south concern the black people in the north and vice versa? I admire that the script forces the characters to wrestle with these questions amongst themselves and with each other, and it goes to all these areas and nooks and crannies that truly examine what it means to have solidarity and to have a common purpose in the face of adversity and terror. The film wants to show you that it was not a smooth sailing road to Emmett Till becoming a symbol of activism. Now, although parts of Till are grim and depressing, I'm glad that director Chinua Achebe also intentionally makes the parts about Mamie and Emmett, or Emmett and his friends, seem optimistic, colorful, and cheery, so as to emphasize that yeah, he may be just a young kid who's out of his depth, but that is no excuse, certainly no reason to lose his life over. I cannot stress enough how incredible Danielle is in this film. And for much of the time, the camera keeps it close to her facial frame, especially during the trial, to kind of block out the noises and just let her performance rip your heart out. The young talent who plays Emmett Till, Hall, not only bears a striking resemblance to the actual Emmett, but Jelen also gives a wonderful performance of somebody who exudes so much joy and promise and enthusiasm. So I'll end on this. Finally, a proper movie about Emmett Till got made. And I think this does his and his mama's story justice. This film could not have come at a better time when, unfortunately, racism is still alive and well in today's America. Till is timely, it's poignant, and staggering.